Hey there again, another little piece of a sea scene with some fish, bit of ocean, some seaweed or seagrass, and yeah, so I'm getting away from the mandala. Although I love the mandalas, I'll keep doing them as well. But since doing the turtle and the sunflower and the dragonfly, they turned out so well, I thought I'd just do this one. My partner actually drew this and then it was coloured in with coloured pencil, and it's on a big frame in my house. So I actually loaded it into the computer and turned it into a vector, tidied it up a little bit, and because like when you draw and then you load it into the computer and you use the tracing tool, Lightburn is what I use, the lines don't come out quite clean, so there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done in the node editing part of the program. But it took a few hours and I got it to this point. I cut it out, and then last night I poured in my clear resin, which was a 1:1 resin, and then this was already spray painted, which is on the other side, and then I just sat it in there. However, waking up this morning, all of this turned out all fine, as what it normally does. Still got a bit attached to it, so I've got to colour this in before it totally cures. But down here, the resin moved back away from the silicone. Like it's still a bit bendy, but just trying to get these areas to show up. So one is there, this area here, and the other one is this area here. See, it's just not covering the silicone. The silicone is exposed. So you can put more resin in to fill that in, but then all of this is all going to cure, and it may not take the mica powder as well. It still will, but you might have some issues. There's another little part there as well. So the alternative to that, because I'll get to that in a second. If you don't fix it, you dry brush there, and it'll go onto the straight silicone. It'll also go onto all your resin. You finish your piece of work and then you tip it out. I was doing coasters and that happened, and I wasn't sure what to do. I just kept going just to see what would happen. So this is a coaster that I did finish, and here's the end result of that. So we got the normal pillowing effect that this does, but see here, here, and here, how it's all flat. Well, that's where the mica powder was brushed straight onto the silicone mold that it was in, and that's how it comes out. So to avoid that, like I haven't had to do this yet, but I'm about to. So to avoid that, I'm using some UV resin. Then that will cure, and then I can carry on. I'm actually not going to find out what happens until I tip it out, but it's all trial and error, so we'll just see how we go with that. So always have UV resin on hand. It's not too expensive. I got it on Amazon. I actually got this light as well to cure it. You can get one of the little nail cure things that ladies put their fingers under when they're doing their nails. You can get one of them as well, but I got this big one here because I also play around with fluoros as well. Like it probably won't even show up on here, but we will see. No, it's not going to show up. It's too bright, but that's fine. So I've got my UV resin. Oops, I've left something on here. bit of fluff here then. Oops. Actually, I don't have any tweezers to pick this up. One little piece of it, because it is that little bit. I think that's just going to have to stay. Yeah, that's embedded. Not a big deal. It's like the air bubbles. It's a sea scene underwater, so the air bubbles are actually going to be a positive to this rather than a negative. I haven't even decided what colors I'm going to do yet, but we'll start with the UV. So this is the resin I'm using. It was off Amazon. As I said, not too expensive. And basically you just pour into here where your resin drew back from the silicone. And you just pour a little bit in. Like as I said, I haven't done this before, but I can't see why it wouldn't work. But if you have come across this, don't be too disheartened. Don't want too much in there because you still want that pillowing effect. But we'll see what happens. And then just maneuver it around with a toothpick to cover your areas. And it sort of almost disappears. It might still be noticeable to you, because you will notice all the flaws in your own work. But I think this will cover in nicely. But yeah, get yourself some UV resin, then you can do some patch up jobs like this. And that should be fine. I did have... I was messing with some jewelry, like pendants and stuff, and I made this one. This was done with UV resin. And it turned out kind of cool. Just this one was an earring one, but I just wanted to see what would happen. But this cellophane paper, it just changes colors. Anyway, back to this. So now I've filled in my 3 gaps and there's no more. So now basically I just hold this over the area and cure it, and then hopefully that will fix it, and then I can carry on. Not sure how tacky that area will be, but at least it will be covered and I won't get a little flat area. But even sometimes imperfections can actually be a positive. So we'll just see how this goes. I'm pretty sure, I'm positive it'll dry, cure. It's about half a minute, maybe a minute. You hold it over. This is quite a strong light, and it's nice and easy to use. And it still dries concave like all resins. But when you do the jewelry ones, you first initially pour your UV resin, put whatever you're putting into it, whether it be crepe paper or bits of diamantes or glitter or whatever. And then cure that, and then when you put more UV resin on the top to give it a dome effect, you don't allow the resin to go over the edges, and it cures in place. I'll show you that in a minute once this is done. So that's probably almost there. Sometimes you can smell an odor. It's not actually burning, it's just the resin heating up with this UV light. I think this was about $34 on Amazon, 34 Australian, and it's great. So we'll check the resin now. The light also heats up too. So and it's done, filled in, and you can carry on. I can't see where I went. There's a little part there, but I think that's fine. But this has a dome effect on it. You probably can't see it, but I didn't allow it to go over the edges. Once I've done my first layer, then you just top it off with clear and let it dome up. But anyway, back to this. So just double check everything. I need to check one spot because it's a little bit of a line here. I think that'll be fine. Almost like a join line. But that's all good. And if this resin is still tacky on the other side, once you pour it out, put the UV resin on the other side to finish off anything that hasn't cured. And there, we can carry on now. I have got, well, let me think. Yeah. I've got no idea what colours I'm going to do here. I think that fish there is going to be like a blue one with a yellow fin. There's greens and blues that I've got to do. There's some starfish down the bottom and more greenery. So, yeah, and then some angelfish here, clownfish here, bits of other fish hiding behind. But yeah, so I'm actually not sure. So this could be another long video, and then I'll just have to try and shorten it somehow. Otherwise, fast forward and enjoy the process. That's what I do. Also, something funny. With spare resin that I do have, I've got these sphere molds. They're really cool. I'm making some little jewelry out of the little ones for little pendants or little earrings. But I had a funny thought of using a bit of black, a bit of blue that I've been using coloured white, and I actually, for those people who like odd things, I made some eyeballs. They're really cool. I just put a drop of the black resin in the bottom of the mold. Let that cure, put a bit of the blue over the top of it, let that cure, mixed up some white, and then I actually used a toothpick, and with the mica powder I dipped it in, and then just sort of like drew it on the inside of the mold, and then poured white over it. And what I'm left with, once it all cures, is eyeballs. I thought they were just really, really cool. But yeah, bit of a sidetrack there, but you can have fun with it too. Checkers mold, using holographic mica, which is really cool. But yeah, got a bit sidetracked there, but that's okay. So anyway, back to this. So I then need to find a green. I'll start with some green, and yeah, because I can't decide what blues I'm going to use. greens are not too easy either. I've got other micas that I could probably use. Yeah, this is not being prepared with colours. You do get a bit stumped. Some of them I haven't even tested, so I don't even know how they're actually going to go. What's this one here? It's a blue green. I could probably go with that. I've also got a jade blue colour. Some other greens here as well. These are gold green. This one here is an orange and gold and green. Doesn't show up like that here, but once it's on the work it does. And yeah, and we'll just go with that really for now. Put a few highlights in. So I'll go with some of the highlights on the green. So you can treat it like painting. I can also use oils as well. Some of these do blend a little. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. We'll just start with this one first. But it is quite a rich green. And see, I've just dropped everywhere. But the gold looks really good in there. You don't have to stay with authentic colours, but these chrome shifts that I've been making up are just great. They're a little bit more expensive. As I keep saying, I'm still waiting on my packaging, some pricing on postage, so that I can post anywhere. But the results are amazing. So you're getting a blue colour, but it's actually quite green. I need some more of this gold in here. And I'm just gonna follow it down, even if I just spread it about in there. I might even use a bit of this one. color you want. Because no matter what color you use, it's all going to work. Look at that, that's fantastic. Even on the what you're seeing, like for me, it's like a really, like a, I don't know, a very chromy green. But the video is showing quite a blue, but it is a color shift, so it will move between them colors. And they'll be available to purchase at the end of the month. And that would just totally blow you away. So you can mix them about. So you got areas of a gold. See down the bottom part of that seagrass is green and the top part is the blue. So it shifts between that two colors. And then there's the highlights that I've put in there of another gold and green shift. So on different angles, or you walk past it, so to speak, and you just get this shimmer of color. And it's more a luster and a steel chromy type color, which is just really great, and I've not seen it anywhere else on the internet. Like, I guess you can get it, but it is pretty expensive. I'm just going to highlight some more of this seagrass, put a bit of this gold in here, just lay it about. Doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you get a little bit in there, and just do a little at a time. Like, this resin was quite tacky, so you got plenty of time, but this is curing as you're painting as well. Well, as you're dry brushing, it is curing as well. So just be aware. And you just put the highlights in little areas. Try not to like spray it around, because once it hits the resin or the silicone, you can't put anything else in that particular spot. So you've just got to be careful, and then you get your green over it. I was going to look for a different kind of green. Let me just go with this. See how this goes. I'll stick with my green that you guys can purchase. But look at it, it's just so cool, if I must say so myself. A little goes a long way, but sometimes more is more. that I like how this is coming out. It really brings it to life. Like, I wasn't going to show the whole process of this, but some people are asking, they want to see the whole process. Well, that's why I did some videos where I'd done most of it and left a couple of little places and showed you what I did. And then this one and my turtle one are longer videos, like tediously long. And I'm not sure whether that's what people were wanting to see. But if anyone's ever painted, this is what it's like. It does take that little bit of time. And I haven't actually edited anything yet, so I'm not too sure how to do that. But I will learn as I go. As I said, this is all new for me. Like, I did 2 little videos about a year ago. And then people wanting to know this technique. And I'm quite flattered by the whole thing. So, like, subscribe is great. And at least I know that you do want to watch this sort of stuff. I've got lots of ideas. This obviously is one of them. And like, my humble beginnings did start with UV resin. When I first got my laser and I cut a pattern out, and then I thought, I wonder if I could do like a stained glass thing. So this was not a great thing to do, but this is where I started. I've got sticky paper on the back, and I put in some resin, UV resin, cured it, painted with some micas, and painted with some paint. The paint leaves a lot of lines, but you can shine the light through that and it comes out still either the phthalo green or phthalo blue, but the mica powders don't do it so well. So that's what I discovered there. But it still turned out quite effective, and that was where I began with it. And it just grew from there. I just honed the technique, worked out at what stage the resin takes the mica, and I even got some coasters and did them as well. This is a green gold, which is really cool as well. Which I think is actually this one here. Which I might use a little bit of that in my next read, just to see if it was this one. And where are we? That'll be enough of that, but I don't think that was the one. But that's all good. I actually need to go look at the colour in drawing to sort of know where the read was. But I'm just gonna finish this little bit in here. A little bit at the top. That's coming out pretty nice. I'm pretty sure this area here is another part of the reed, so it goes up this way, round this way and round there, and this one here is the one that's going through here. This one here I think is going round there, back through here, but I'm not too sure. But if you colour it in, your eye will lead it that way, and it'll be fine. So I might put more gold in them areas. This here I don't think is. It looks like the ocean part. But I need to put a bit of gold in there. Anyway, I'm going to go green, make that decision. And the same here. And you only just go on lightly. Doesn't matter if it's as random as what I'm doing, because on the whole thing it all goes well together. Because some things aren't just straight green or straight blue, like hatches, and it changes, gives you a different colour of the same colour. And this is all coral, which is all kinds of colours. And then it's your fish, your fantasy drawing. Or as I said, go to the colouring pages, get a colouring book. You can use them drawings and change it to suit yourself in the program. I think I can hear my dog barking. I'm in my art room, which is outside in my garage. I turned one of my car bays into the art room that I work in. But I think I might just turn this. Okay, that's one weed, Aussie grass, and that looks very, very nice. There's blues and golds and greens shimmering through that. For me, just standing here looking at it, it all looks green with a tinge of yellow, with a nice little sparkle to it. I've already been going for 34 minutes on this, so this is just a part one. I don't want to put you through the whole process. I will come back when I'm nearly finished and I'll continue on with it, but right now I will turn off the video, continue in the colouring in, because this is going to take a little while. There's a lot of little areas. Basically it's the same. I'll be using all my colours. I don't have them listed, but I will do a video on when they're ready for sale, really. And you've seen what I've been working with, and the colours that I'm working with are the ones that I'm going to be selling. So I've got to name them, and there's still a little bit of work to do, but hopefully by the end of the month they'll be available. And if you're interested, just say so. Leave a little note in the description, in the comments. I'll get back to you. If not, send me another message and I will definitely answer. So like, subscribe, follow along. I'll keep making these videos, and but at the moment I can't get enough of doing this type and the mandalas in this dry brush technique, and it's fantastic, really it is. Give it a go, and I'll do a part 2 to this where I'll finish some areas, pour some resin over the top, let that cure, then put a black on the top of that, let that cure, and then it'll be unveiled. A little bit of a process, but you'll get it basically one after the other. Me, it'll be a few days. So cheers for watching, and I'll be back again soon enough. Cheers.